Hello everybody, my name is Marlo and welcome back to TekTopia, where today's episode is potentially gonna be the last one here in Esteria, but do not fear, next episode will be starting a new village from scratch, bearing in mind I do get everything done today that is, and I haven't quite figured out what that village is gonna be just yet, still making the final decision, but yeah, you guys will find that out next week, but I think everything I want to get done left with the village, I could reasonably get done today. Which really consists of doing all of the landscaping, adding in the trees, the pathways and the bushes on all of the houses, like we've done over on this quadrant here, which I have finally seen your guys' replies and feedback on what you think about this, and for the most part, you guys seem to be on board with everything we've done over here, which is really nice. A couple of comments basically said maybe the trees were like a little too bushy, which honestly I agree with, so I might tone them back a bit more than we've done here. I think they're a bit too tall perhaps. Maybe if I just like get rid of the top layer, I think it would look a lot better. They are meant to still be acacia trees and they're kind of big and bushy for that, so I think we need to tone them back a little bit. Pathway's good. I might add in a few more birch slabs, but for the most part that's fine, and you guys seem to really like the bushes on the houses, so we'll make sure to do lots of that. So yeah, that's really all I've got to do today. First things first today, there's one tiny thing I need to do which has been driving a lot of you guys insane, which is to get rid of this stone block here. This has been around for like 3 episodes now. I've only just obviously seen your comments of you guys mentioning that I left this here, so I'm sorry for driving you crazy all those episodes, but yeah, we're gonna break it now, so not to worry. I can't quite get it. I'll just have to leave it. You guys will have to part with it, sorry. Just kidding, I'll break it. There you go. Happy? I hope so. Is there any more in here? I hope not. As you can see, I've gotten rid of a few of the leaves on top of our trees, and they are looking much better, I'd say, so we're going to keep with that idea when we end up doing all of them around the village, which we will get to in a little bit, but for right now, there's a few spaces I need to fill in with something else. Here, 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 and here. Now, I originally was going to put some structures in place, but I feel like we could use a few more gardens like we have over there and ponds like we have over there. So I'm going to put some sort of natural element in each of those. One of my additions to the village seem to already be causing problems. How exactly are you stuck here? I've got carpets on other tables around the village that don't cause an issue. Is it the carpet? Is that what you're struggling with? Yep. Okay, alright, well, we'll scrap the carpet since you guys hate it so much. Oh, really? You could have just walked around that table, you didn't have to get stuck on both of them. Oh, now it looks so much worse. Okay, so let's start over here, I guess, since our druid wanted it that way. Thank you very much. Go on with your day. Be annoying. Ugh, druids these days. Anyway, so we have a kind of like gazebo, leafy gazebo, we can call it, I guess, which now looks terrible without the carpet on top of the tables, but yeah, this is just where some villagers can go if they want to kind of get out the sun for a little bit, whilst also being outside, and they can sit here, maybe have some lunch, or play some cards, or anything really. And just beyond our leafy gazebo over here, you can see I've added in another one of these ponds with the tree in the middle. An iron golem is enjoying himself. What is it with the entities, villagers and golems, just being a nuisance with these new builds? I can't push them out. Dude, you're going to be stuck here forever, and it's your fault because you walked in here on your own. But yeah, just got basically a smaller version of what we've got over in the far corner, which had that stone block that is now definitely removed. We have yet another pond over here, which, as you can see, our villagers are using the bridge that goes across, which is really awesome to see. They purposely put the bridge in here because I knew they'd have to. It would be part of their pathfinding, as they quite often go across this little area here, and this is obviously now the quickest way across instead of going all the way around. So yeah, really cool to see them going over this one. I do very much like it, but as for the pond itself, pretty boring. There's not a whole lot you can do in 1.12 when it comes to this stuff, because it's prior to the aquatic update, so there's not a whole lot of options, but we've got the bridge and that's the main thing. And then over in this gap here, just beside the garden we've already placed down, we've got a little play area for the children to go in. Not that we have any kids in our village anymore, but I think it would be a nice place for them to go if we ever had any more. So maybe the adults can hang out at this more relaxing and scenic garden over here with the waterfall and picnic carpet and all of that sort of stuff, and then they can kind of watch the kids over in the playground over here, which our very old man of Norris here, this is not really meant for you, but he's enjoying the seesaw, and Enya over here is enjoying the roundabout. Nobody's touched the swings yet, but the chicken is loving it, so I guess we have the playground for the chicken, and a very old enchanter, and a lumberjack, so maybe not its intended use, but it's still getting some use. And then last but not least, over in this corner, I've done something a little bit different to the other ones we've added in, and done a cactus field. Now, you may be thinking, what are you doing putting all this cactus in a village where the villagers aren't exactly the smartest and like to walk into stuff, especially if it's sharp and pointy? That should not be here, but there's no real reason why they should pathfind over here. There's nothing they've got to go to that's beyond this, and the closest thing is the library, so in theory they shouldn't go any further than like here. So yeah, we should be good by having this here, and it would be kind of nice to have some cactus in our desert village, because I can't really put it anywhere else in fear of harming all of our villagers. But yeah, this is a little bit inspired by Good Times with Scar's Scar World. He had those giant cactus pillars which looked really cool, and I've done a similar thing here, and I think it's turned out pretty nicely. So we've got some short little stubby ones, some in the process of growing with these dead bushes, and some that are towering up to 10 blocks tall. So yeah, does it exactly fit with everything else we've got in the village and make a whole lot of sense? Nope. Does it look cool? Yes, and that's really all that matters. Our leafy gazebo was looking a little too organized on this side over here, so chuck a couple more leaves in and hopefully that looks a bit better now. Some of you may have noticed that it was this very rigid edge, so yeah, I'd say that's an improvement. But anyway, that's pretty much all of the building that isn't gonna be trees, pathways and leaves done for today. There's still maybe a couple of things I may add in if I can get round to it, but for the most part we are done here. And now what I've got to do is what I've done in this quadrant over here, with the trees, with the pathway, with all of the bushes on the houses, but for the other 3/4. So yeah, we're gonna jump into a time lapse and get all of this done. I may be a while. All in all, this took me just under 2 hours to complete, so really, in the big scheme of things, not too bad at all. Sure felt like a lot longer than 2 hours though. I really don't enjoy doing these large, tedious tasks, but got it done, and I'm really happy that we have, because in my opinion, it has significantly transformed the village. I think it looks 10 times better now we've got all the trees and the pathways and the bushes added in. The same thing happened with Mecklen's Vale, our first village. Once I did all of the pathways and custom trees, it looked a million times better, and probably going to be the case throughout the rest of our villages. But yeah, super happy we've got this done. We're not quite finished with the village yet though. There are a couple more things I want to add in. On my hotbar is everything we need to make a very simple cart design, and we've already got a couple of them dotted around the village in several other locations, but I had a comment from Misa Day YouTube who suggested we build a couple more just to look as though we've got some traffic flow around the village. So if we get our materials and build one up over here, we then end up with a nice simple cart design, which I think looks pretty cool. So what I'm going to do now is get a bunch more of this stuff, maybe have them varying in sizes, but then just kind of build up, if I can set flight here, a few of them in other locations around the place. It's really quite amazing how just by adding in something as simple as this can really immersify your world or your specific build. It just kind of makes it feel alive and as though it's actually working and functioning. I mean, the villagers are walking around, working and functioning help as well with TekTopia, but just in a regular survival, this is always a good thing to add. I'd love to add in some more stuff as well as carts, but we're in 1.12 and I can't really think of anything to do off the top of my head. I feel very limited when you compare it to 1.14 plus, but if I just kind of go around here a little bit, I can show you some of the carts we've got added in, as well as some crates, which I'll also show you. But over here at the barracks here, the second one, we've got the largest cart. Maybe don't need two of these. I think that's a bit overkill, but we'll do them sideways as well because it's a bit bigger. Probably need a bigger handle to grab, but yeah, we've got maybe armor and tools and weapons supplies over here, bringing them on over to the barracks. And then if we fly on over to the mining area where we've got our quarry, you can see this is a crate design I'm using. It's just trapdoors with acacia wood on top, trying to make it not all the same sort of block material, so not all oak. So I've kind of traded out a little bit here. So yeah, just sort of like something, a crate basically with blocks stacked on top. I don't know. Again, 1.12, I feel very limited. And yeah, we basically just have some more of these dotted around the village. There's quite a few more. I won't show you them all, otherwise it's kind of a big waste of time. But yeah, I think that's a nice little thing to add in. Thank you for the suggestion. I would now like to do something which I've been looking forward to doing pretty much ever since we started this village, is to map it out. So we've got our empty map here. Let's pop on up to the top and we can go to the very center and see how this looks. I have no idea. Fingers crossed. It would be amazing if this could be nice and centralized. We're going to need more than one map, by the way. I know. I just want to get an idea of how this is going to look. Here we go. Okay, that's actually not too bad. We can... I'm certain we can fit that on 4 maps. If I could just build it like slightly like downwards on the map, then it would have been, you know, perfectly centered in within the 4 maps, which is something maybe I should consider, or should have considered. But just by looking at this one quarter here, we are going to have a pretty cool finished map. So I'm going to go grab 3 others and get this done, and then I'll have to find a place somewhere in the village to put it. This right here has vastly exceeded my expectations for how awesome this would look. Look at this. It's amazing. And it's basically centralized. I mean, in the middle, we are smack bang. I've done very well at doing that. I mean, that's the center of the block. If we just go up, it's lined up, you know, basically pixel perfect. I don't know if there's a reason for that, or I've just got incredibly lucky. I think it's the latter, but either way, this is so cool. I've already spent a good 5 minutes kind of just staring and looking at each of them. Like, there's the Grand Library, some ruins, the llama pen, the marketplace right here, what is that over there? What is that? Oh, the treasury. Yes, okay, you think I'd know all my buildings by now. But yeah, I've just been looking and kind of like, oh, this is this, and yeah, looks super cool. So I spent quite a while flying around the village and kind of going into each of the buildings, trying to find a certain location which had like a large gap, which was an odd number, you know, at least 2 by 2, which I could fit the map on. But because pretty much every single one of these houses are built with even numbers, so we can have this roof design with the stair and then the sandstone brick, I was unable to do that, and I ended up putting it by the entrance. But honestly, I genuinely think this is the best place for it. I mean, it makes perfect sense, right, to have a map of the village right at the entranceway here. And we have our pathway this side going over there, but this way we have nothing. The pathway doesn't go this way, and I feel like this does a great job at blocking it. And oh, it just looks amazing. I cannot get over how actually centralized it is. Is it perfectly centralized? I want to line myself up here. Let's get right in the middle and try and keep to that line. I genuinely think it is. I think that's maybe 1 or 2 pixels out. which, yeah, crazy. Absolutely crazy. Something I've just realized I've forgotten to do around the other 3 quadrants of our village, you may have just heard my cat in the background meowing away, is to add in these dead bushes. So I probably won't do as many as I've done this section over here because they actually take quite a long time to harvest, but I'm going to go ahead, harvest them up and just place them sporadically around the other 3 quarters. Dead bushes have been placed down, as you can see. I actually went basically the same amount as I had in the other quadrant over there. I did 32 in each of them, and I think they're spread out quite nicely. Also, I forgot to say, this very expensive snazzy cart outside the treasury, ready to dump some valuable gems on inside, and the 2 columns over here, having a blast. This one's climbing away, this one's swimming away. You're stuck there for everybody. But now what I want to do, which is most likely going to be the last build we do over here in Esteria, is something that's actually outside of the village. I'll do a little bit of explaining whilst we build this and afterwards. So what we're building up now is actually our transportation to and from the previous village to the current one to all future villages, few and far between. Now, I could make a long pathway connecting them all up, it would feel very immersive. The only trouble is, this village and our old one have a 4,000 block long gap in between, and I don't really want to make a pathway that long. I think you guys would be able to understand that. So what we're doing instead is making this little horse and carriage here, which is going to teleport us around the world. Now, before I go any further and you guys start shouting at me for being a cheater McCheaterson, I want to say that what we're building up here is actually not for me at all, it's only for you guys. At the end of my village, I like to provide a world download so you guys can check the place out and have a look around for yourself. So yeah, this is how you guys are going to get around the world. Instead of like giving you an elytra and coordinates and telling you to fly there, you can teleport yourself directly to all of them, and it will make it much easier and much quicker for you guys in the world download. So yeah, I will not be using this at all, don't worry. If for whatever reason, not that I ever do, need to go back to an old village, I will be sure to fly, not use the cheated command blocks, but this is how you guys are going to get around. So hopefully that's understandable. You can forgive me for spawning in these blocks, but I think this is a really nice way to do it, and I think it's still a very immersive way to go about things. So yeah, if that doesn't make sense, hopefully this will now. We're going to jump into first person and kind of use the device for the one and only time probably, just so I can show you guys how it's going to work. So when you guys download the world, this is where you are going to spawn, around about 00, and here is actually where we've got the main station. So this is kind of like the centralized point of the world, which will allow you to teleport to all of the villages. I've got all these blank spaces here for future villages that we do, but for right now we've just got Mecklenville and Esteria. Also our carriage design here, so pretty much as though we're about to get on the carriage and go to Mecklenville. Obviously we don't actually do that, we instead just press this button here and we are teleported to the one that I've built over here in Mecklenville, and it's as though we've kind of, you know, traveled day and night via this carriage and eventually ended up in Mecklenville. You can then go and check this out, and then on the way back, I've also added in a map of each place, by the way, just because we can then press this button, it will direct us back to the station, and then you're like, okay, now I want to go check out Esteria. Press the button, we are now here in Esteria. Also, very cool, smaller map. I really like that. And yeah, you can go check out Esteria. Then when you're done, you can head back to the station, and then in the future check out all of the other ones we are going to build if the world would load in. So yeah, that's the gist of it. Again, just want to reiterate for the 100th time, I'm not going to use this, don't worry. I know it's cheaty. This is only for you guys. I'm just getting ready to set off from this place here and travel somewhere else in the world to a new location to build up a brand new village. But before we go, I just want to show you guys a little something I've put together as somewhat of an homage to our beautiful desert city of Esteria. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. We put the shaders on and everything to make this place look even prettier, and that was just kind of a general overview of the village. I'm actually going to do a separate tour video of this place where we kind of go a bit more in depth and reminisce of some of the things we built over here in our village, and yeah, just look at the finer details, let's say. But that's going to be in a separate video. Don't have time for that one today, so look out for that one sometime soon. Could be tomorrow, could be next week. Not exactly sure when I'm going to get around to doing it, but now, real quick, I want to show you guys something that's really cool. So at the end of every episode I've made here in Esteria, I have been taking a screenshot from the exact same location, looking at the exact same spot, and I now have a series of screenshots which just kind of shows off all the progression we've made here for our village. Pretty cool, right? It was really kind of sweet to see all of the changes we made during each episode, and obviously a lot more progression in this one because, well, there's so much more leaves and trees everywhere. But yeah, very glad I did that. I think it turned out quite nicely. But now, just want to tell you guys quickly, a few episodes ago I polled you all on how many emeralds we should take to the next village. I gave you 5 options, either 0 stacks, 1, 2, 3, or 4 stacks, and believe it or not, very glad you guys said this, but the one that actually won was 1, 2, 3, 4 stacks of emeralds, which I'm very happy about. It means I'm not going to have to do a whole lot of grinding at the start of our village, and generally a lot of you said you were kind of just more interested in the building as opposed to mining underground for emeralds, when I've done that enough times. We're on our 3rd village next episode, so yeah, a lot of you guys weren't too fussed about the emerald situation, which yeah, is going to be really nice. So happy you guys said that. We're taking 4 emeralds to our next place, and I guess I'll just leave these ones behind. Maybe I should make them into blocks and put them in the treasury over there. And so it is now time to say goodbye to Esteria. Very sad to be leaving this place, but do not worry, we will make some returns in future episodes just to check out again and see how things are getting along. But just a couple of things before we do end off the episode. In regards to the world download, that link is going to be in the description for you guys to check out, and I will also, if I'm able to, include my custom texture pack which makes all of the sandstone in 1.12 Minecraft into the smooth variant. This place looks kind of rubbish without it, so if I'm able to do that, I will be sure to include that in the file, so I'd recommend putting that on. And yeah, so that link is in the description, most likely towards the bottom. If you do check out the world and do some downloads, then send me some photos of you guys here in Esteria or even in Mecklen's Vale over on Twitter or Instagram or Discord or wherever really. I'd love to see that sort of stuff. And to do with our next village, still not 100% certain what it's going to be. I haven't fully decided yet. Leaning towards one in particular, but wait and see what you guys say on the poll. And that will most likely start next week, but there's a chance I may take like a little week's break in between ending this one and starting the new one, just depending on whether I'm ready or not. But I should be, so it's going to start soon. At maximum, there'll be a week's break. So yeah, please stick around and watch that village as well, because it's going to be a ton of fun. May even be bigger and better than our one here. But yeah, it's going to be a blast. I cannot wait to start it. I hope you guys are excited too. And just thank you so much for the continued support on this series. I am absolutely loving making it, and I think you guys are loving watching too. So I cannot thank you enough for that. But yeah, now it's time to say goodbye and go somewhere else in the world and start from scratch. So I really hope you guys liked how this village turned out. I myself am super happy with it. But thank you for watching this episode, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.